Hello everyone, welcome back to Comparative Investing Techniques CIT channel. This video we are using another SGS listed company called Riverstone Holdings Ltd, previously shared by CIT, and to demonstrate the relationship between share price and intrinsic value. So with that, we shall bring investor attention to our research on Riverstone Holdings. So in this Excel spreadsheet, investor can see that our research for Riverstone Holding actually started from the year of 2006 all the way to 2020. 2021 we do have, but because for membership reason, we do not review. We only review to our member. So for non-member, we will not share the latest info to the public at the moment. So based on the this spreadsheet itself, we can see that the latest year, which was 2020, we have the intrinsic value in Sing dollar at 0.517 cent. Of course, the exchange rate that we have because for Riverstone Holding, their financial are reported in ringgit, so we have the Sing dollar to Malaysian ringgit at 3.0418 as the exchange rate, because the ringgit intrinsic value that we estimated was at 1.573. So when you convert back to Sing, is at 0.517 cent. So this is the intrinsic value for the year of 2020. So we shall now take a look at the stock chart of Riverstone Holding. So when we go to the stock chart of Riverstone Holding, we can see that in the year of this 2020, the lower share price was actually recorded at 0.333 cent. So at 0.333 cent, right, it was actually lower than the intrinsic value that we have estimated. Okay, so when a stock price actually price below the intrinsic value, it actually means that this is actually a cheap stocks, and given time, the share price will definitely rise to the intrinsic value or even higher. So true enough, when we see that the share price at lowest of 0.333 cent, within a few months, you can see that the share price rocket all the way up to a height of 2.385 cents. So you can see that at 2.385 cents, it was again way above the intrinsic value estimated by CIT, which was at 0.517 cents. Right, so from here we pause a while, we go to our Facebook, which we have also previously shared with our member as well as investor. On the 7th of August 2021, we updated our intrinsic value for Riverstone based on their 2021 Q2 result. We increased their intrinsic value to 0.976 cent. Right, so the close price was actually at $1.27. So you can see that based on our attachment, which also show at $1.27, which was above the latest CIT intrinsic value of 0.976 cent. So once again, when the share price actually trade above the intrinsic value, it actually means that this share is actually expensive stocks, and given time, the share price will certainly fall. Alright, so when we refer back to the stock chart again, so at 1.27, right, is somewhere around here. Alright, so you can see that when the share price was at 1.27, the CIT intrinsic value, the latest intrinsic value was only at about 90 cents. So as what we mentioned, when the share price was above the intrinsic value, at given time, you will certainly fall. So you can see that true enough, given time, the share price actually once again dipped to a low of 0.59 cent. So at 0.59 cent, which was in the month of December 2021, at 0.59 cent, it once again dipped below the CIT intrinsic value of 0.976 cent. Right, this is the second time that the share price was below the intrinsic value estimated by CIT. First time, like just now what we have shared, on March 2020, the lower share price was 0.333 cent, which was below the CIT intrinsic value of 0.517 cent. This is the first time. Second time, we have the lower share price dip to 0.5 0.59 cent, which was once again below the CIT intrinsic value of 0.976 cents. So you can see that when a share price trade above the intrinsic value, given time it will fall. After it have go below the intrinsic value, we see what happened actually. And when the share price came down to 0.59 cent, thereafter all the way it rocket up again. It go up to the high of $1.13. At $1.13, once again, it surpassed the CIT intrinsic value of 0.976 cents. So you can see that the share price always move up and down the intrinsic value. So that's why when we actually invest via intrinsic value, you don't need to look at the share price, because looking at the share price is actually useless. Because we know that over the long run, the share price will certainly follow the intrinsic value. So when a share price actually trade at a steep discount below the intrinsic value, it is actually a good opportunity for investor to take position, because we know that given time, when the share price recover back to the intrinsic value or even higher, then investor is going to make massive profit, right? So in contrast, when the share price was way above the intrinsic value, then investor better shy away from these stocks, or you should immediately sell these stocks. Otherwise, when the correction comes, then you may actually find yourself stuck in these stocks because you actually bought above the intrinsic value. Alright, so once again we have shared the relationship on intrinsic value and share price using actual research stocks, which we have also previously shared with investor. So which also demonstrate the importance of knowing the intrinsic value before an investor would take position. So for investors who are investing in both Singapore and Hong Kong stock market, you are highly advised to check out the intrinsic value by submitting your request to us for any stock that listed in both of these exchange. Every valuation request we charge $30 Sing or USD. It depends on the payment you opt for. Alright, so thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.